Top 10 countries that cannot be invaded. All throughout history, all empires either fall or transform into some other empire and then fall. Nowadays, we don't use the term empires to describe nation-states anymore. No matter what we call some countries, they're still able to project power and strength, whether globally like the United States or regionally like Iraq. But when it comes to the defense of their own homes, some countries just refuse to bend down. This is the top 10 countries that cannot be invaded. Number 10. Bhutan. This small country in Southeast Asia has next to nothing when it comes to self-protection. Bhutan neither has a huge army, only 7,000 personnel, nor a well-equipped air force, just 2 aircraft. In fact, Bhutan doesn't even have tanks in its military. However, Bhutan is one of those countries which have rarely seen an attack in its homeland. Bhutan is a small country, surrounded by the splendid Himalayan peaks on all sides, and is itself 300 meters above sea level. Even if a foreign army manages to cross the border, the elevation sickness will further weaken any army personnel. In addition to that, Bhutan's good friend India has decided to take this little state under its safety. India also supplies weapons, aid, and military training to the minor army of Bhutan. These geographical and alliance factors and an entire lack of incentive to invade Bhutan results in the country being safe and sound all year round. Number 9. Iran. With an active personnel of 545,000, with 1,800,000 in its army reserve, it's no wonder it has made it on the list. Latest statistics confirm that Iran has a total of 1,658 tanks, 2,400 artillery pieces, 137 fighter aircrafts, 140 helicopters, and a naval strength of 398 ships. Iran is one of the most powerful countries in the Middle East. It also has the largest number of enemies a country can have, except North Korea. Since time immemorial, the Middle East has been a hotspot of frequent wars between countries within and with countries distance away. And while Iran has been extensively involved in all of these, it has somehow managed to maintain invaders at bay. The main reason behind this protection is Iran's geographical location, which is so hostile that Iran doesn't even need its army to keep notorious parties away. Mother Nature will cook its enemies in the desert. The country is covered by mountains, perfect for concealed defensive facilities and underground bunkers. This type of terrain, as well as Iran's battle-hardened army, can withstand an expanded war of attrition against any superior attacking forces. Number 8. Australia. Most do not know, but Australia has 2 of the world's most powerful aircraft carriers in its armada. Again, Australia's geographical location is its biggest protection against invaders. The very fact that Australia is an island country deters any prospective invaders and scares them away. 70% of its area is covered by the outback, a non-stop stretch of desert with no flora or fauna to be seen for thousands of miles. Australia's nearest potential enemy is Japan, which itself is 6,850 miles away and separated by the Pacific Ocean. During World War II, Japan did plan to invade Australia, but deserted its plan due to the high foreseeable attrition rate, because they knew that even if they reach Australia, 95% of their forces would have been wiped out. To invade Australia, they would have had to beat the outback, which makes up 70% of Australia's landmass, not to mention the desert scattering along thousands of miles, enough to provide the Australian Army vantage points to perform guerrilla raids. You've got to be pretty stupid to invade a country with that kind of advantage. Number 7. Switzerland. Switzerland is prominent all across the world for 3 things: Swiss chocolates, Swiss watches, and its severe neutrality in world politics. Switzerland doesn't have any enemies and is the one country every powerful country is in good relation with. This is possibly why every department of the United States has its headquarters in Switzerland, even though this country has never involved itself in any kind of war. Being surrounded by the mountain range has helped Switzerland to stave off invaders for ages. National Redoubt Switzerland is a protective plan adopted by the country in the 19th century that uses the Alps as roadblocks to any attack. The plan permitted for the fortification of the Alpine region, and this plan continued post-World War II as the danger of a Soviet invasion was high. The Swiss military planted all major roads and railway tracks with explosives, which would be detonated in case of an attack. This way, an attacker would have to waste time and energy in getting into the country. Moreover, the several bunkers, tunnels, and fortresses built within the mountains themselves offer access and protection for whole army divisions to strike anywhere at a moment's observe. Number 6. North Korea. With an active personnel count of 700,000 and 4,500,000 in its reserve, North Korea, when provoked, will pack a punch. Let's all not forget that its self-proclaimed nuclear prowess alone is enough to daunt the biggest and most powerful countries in the world. In the 1950s, during the Korean War, even South Korea and the US together couldn't subdue North Korea and its allies. That should give you an idea of how difficult it was to invade this tiny country. And while there's a huge divergence between the technological advancements between the two Koreas nowadays, both Koreas still do have a lot in common culturally. North Korea has various enemies, the USA included, and its fingers in many countries' butts. Yet no one will dare to declare war on North Korea. There have been many times when the world has anticipated war between the US and North Korea due to their tense relations over the years. But even the USA is reluctant to do so. More so because of North Korea's friendship with China, with whom the USA doesn't want to fight head-on. North Korea is one of the most fierce countries in the world, and unfortunately, its political play with the Kim regime makes it nearly impossible to invade without much casualties. Number 5. United Kingdom. As a general rule, island nations are difficult to invade. The United Kingdom, or Britain, is not just an island nation, it's also one of the most dominant countries in the world. Besides the USA, Russia, Germany, and its likes. During World War II, try as they might, Hitler and the Nazis were not capable to mount an efficient attack on the island, proving just how much 20 miles of open water drains resources in organizing an effective landing. Surrounded by two oceans and the ever-unstable North Sea, the British Isle can only be efficiently evaded from the south, across the English Channel. But even this crossing is treacherous and difficult. The southeastern English coast consists of cliffs known as the White Cliffs of Dover. Its annual defense budget is over $55 billion, the 5th largest in the world. Just imagine all this money, adequate to keep a tiny country like Bhutan afloat for years, goes into military equipment and training. You can expect its military to be in tip-top condition. And if you are still not persuaded, the United Kingdom has powerful allies, including the USA, thanks to the NATO arrangement. These allies will waste no time in coming to Britain's aid should the need take place. Number 4. Canada. Canadians are a peaceful and polite lot, and they prefer their snowy Christmases over bloodshed any day. But that doesn't mean that the Canadians are weak or defenseless in any way. It's so difficult to attack Canada that even if it had enemies, no one would provoke Canada and take their chances. The largest and strongest advantage that Canada has is its geographical location and its size. The second largest country in the world by surface area. Canada is surrounded on 3 sides by the glacial waters of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, with freezing temperatures of below -30 degrees Celsius. These freezing temperatures and the inescapable snow inside the country is enough to deter the most powerful armies in the world. The only technique to attack Canada securely is through the USA, which is towards the south. And considering how powerful the USA is and how friendly these two nations are, the mission is just impossible. You also got to invade the US as well. According to the Global Firepower Index, Canada is ranked at number 22 in terms of overall military strength. Number 3. Japan. Yet another island country on the list. Japan is as powerful as it is small. Japan is one of the most advanced, the most developed, and the most powerful countries. History is proof of its military and technological expertise. Also being an island nation, which is also more difficult to attack, just as the Mongols, Japan also boasts a considerable army and a powerful economy, the 4th largest in the world. Their national defense budget alone is somewhere around $49 billion, the 6th highest in the world. 70 years ago, during World War II, the USA had to drop 2 atom bombs in Japan to stop them from prolonging the war. This is how dangerous and how powerful the Japanese are in their culture of loyalty. If an attacker still wants to attack Japan, he will have to cross an ocean to reach it, which is far from easy. And if they aren't ripped to shreds by those Japanese, allies like the USA will knock them out. The conclusion of such an attack on Japan should be clear to anyone. Number 2. Russia. Russia is the largest country in the world. This alone is one of the biggest defenses of this country. Without hesitation, Russia's an almost impossible country to defeat due to its sheer size, as history has verified time and time again with the Swedish in the early 18th century, the French under Napoleon in 1812, and then the Nazis during World War II. The exceptionally harsh Russian winter can bring even the mightiest of armies to its knees. Russian geography in itself is Russia's biggest shield against any potential invaders. The harsh winters of Russia is deadly. Its freezing Siberian temperatures and deceitful mountains are impossible to navigate. By the time any army makes it to the Russian mainland, they will have wasted so much resources that it will be a cakewalk for the Russian army to subdue them. Number 1. United States of America. Not surprisingly, the United States is first on this list. Non-stop wars have taken place on the surface of the earth, some small, some major, like World War I and World War II. And the USA has been at war one way or another for most of its history since independence. With a defense budget of $581 billion, it alone makes up almost a third of all money spent on the military in the world. Just 20 countries have a bigger GDP than the US defense budget. The geography and landmass of the USA alone are also one of the biggest defenses it has. It has the vast Arizona desert, the soaring Rockies, and the Appalachian Mountains, a massive network of rivers, plateaus, and snowy Alaskan landscapes. You name it, the US has it. On two sides, it's surrounded by massive oceans, the Pacific on the west and the Atlantic on the east. Let's also not forget about its thousands of nukes in its arsenal, which is as strong as deterrent of any other factors combined. All of these, along with its military prowess, which is the best, the strongest on the planet, make the USA the most difficult country to invade. So that's our list. Do leave us a comment. Let us know which country do you think is impossible to invade. Make sure to also subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon to get updated when we upload more cool videos just like this. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.